Hi, in this video we're going to explore how we can expand two brackets or double brackets. So for example, we've got this bracket here of x plus 4 and we want to multiply it by x plus 2. Remember in algebra, when we put things next to each other like this, it just means we want to multiply them together. So we want to do x plus 4 times x plus 2. Now, initially, and this won't be the method that we're going to use every time, I just want to illustrate how this is going to work. Let's just say that I wanted to find the total area of this rectangle here. And we're going to make the length of the rectangle x plus 4, and we're going to make the height of the rectangle x plus 2. Now, we know the area of a rectangle is just the length times the height, right? So it's going to be the length of x plus 4 times the height of x plus 2. And you can see, look, this here, this expression, I've got x plus 4 times x plus 2. So this will be the area. So let's write that area in one way. We've got the area of this rectangle is the x plus 4. So this here times by the x plus 2, the height. So we've got x plus 4 times x plus 2. So that's one way of finding the area. But what we could do is we could find the area of these individual rectangles here, because we know this total area of these four individual rectangles that's the total area of this rectangle like this, right? So we could find the individual rectangles and add them together. Now what I've done is I've split the x plus 4 into the x and the 4, because clearly this total length here is x plus 4, right? And similarly here, I've split the x plus 2 into x and 2 because x plus 2 is the x plus 2 here. Now let's think about the area of each of these individual rectangles. We've got the this rectangle here, and the area of that rectangle will be the length times the height. So it'll be x times the x, and x times x is x squared. Then for this rectangle here, we've got the length of 4 times the height of this x here. 4 times x is 4x. And then this bottom rectangle here, bottom left one, we've got a length of x. So we've got a length of x and a height of 2. X times 2 is 2x. And then finally, this rectangle here, we've got a length of 4 times by a height of 2. 2 times 4 is 8. So we've got these different areas here. So the area of this rectangle, of the whole rectangle, is just the area of the four rectangles added together. So the area is also going to be this x squared at the top left, plus the 4x here, plus the 2x here, plus the 8 here. And that basically tells us that these two things, because it's the same area in both cases, this here, these unexpanded brackets, and these expanded brackets must be the same, So another way of thinking about it is that in order to find the area, we can do this x multiplied by each of the things in this x plus 4 here. So the x times by the x and the x times by the 4. And then we've got to do this 2 times by the x and the 2 times the 4 to get these areas here. So that's how we're going to do it. If I just write out this again, so x plus 4, x plus 2. This is what I would do if I was doing it on paper. You need to do each thing in the first bracket multiplied by each thing in the second bracket. So let's write that down. You do multiply each thing or each term in the first bracket by each in the second bracket. Okay, so that is our key point here. And that is the principle for multiplying out two brackets like this. So what we want to do is we want to do each thing in the first bracket times each thing in the second bracket. So let's first do this x in the first bracket, and we're going to multiply it by each of the things in the second bracket. So I like to do this with like little arrows, little arcs. I'm going to do the x times the x, and I'm then going to do the x times the 2. So let's firstly do x times x, which is x squared. X squared means x times x. And then I'm going to do this first thing in the first bracket times the second thing in the second bracket. So the x times the 2, which is plus 2x, right? So I've done the first thing in this first bracket multiplied by each of the things in the second bracket. Now, what are the other ways of picking something from the first bracket and something in the second bracket? Well, I now need to do this 4 times by each of the things in the second bracket. So the 4 times the x and the 4 times the 2. And that will give me every possible combo of something from the first bracket and something from the second bracket. So we're going to do the 4 times the x now. So we highlight the 4. We're going to do the 4 times the x, which is plus 4x. And then I'm going to finally do the 4 times the 2, which is plus 8. And you can see, like, if I compare it to what I have here, you can see, yeah, indeed, we've got all the terms that we want. The last thing you do is you need to simplify by collecting like terms. Now, remember, we have like terms if we have the same variable and we have the same powers. So take, for example, like the x squared here. There are no like terms here. So the x squared is not like with any of these because this is the only x with a squared on it. This doesn't have a squared, this doesn't have a squared. So we can't simplify the x squared with anything because there are no like terms for it to collect with. What about the 4x though? The 2x, sorry. The plus 2x, are there like terms? Well, yes, the plus 4x is a like term because these both involve the same variable of x, but they don't have the squared on it. So they have the same powers, no power at all. So the 2x plus 4x, or 2 lots of x plus 4 lots of x is 6 lots of x. So we get plus 6x. And then finally, we've got what's known as a constant term because it has no variable in it, no letters. So the plus 8 just remains as plus 8. And that is as simple as we can get it. X squared plus 6x plus 8. We can't simplify that any further. So that is the final answer. What about the second one? We've got y plus 3 times y plus 5. Let's do that. We do each thing in the first bracket multiplied by each thing in the second. So the way I like to do it is I just start with the first thing in the first bracket and multiply it by each thing in the second bracket. So I'm going to do the y times the y and the y times the 5. So if I do that, the y times the y is y squared. The y times the 5 is 5y plus 5y. And then you do the second thing in this first bracket multiplied by each thing in the second bracket. So we've got the 3 times the y, which is 3y, and we've got the 3 times the 5, which is 15. And then we collect like terms again. The y squared, there's no other y squared terms. It's the only thing with a squared on it. And then the 5y plus 3y, that's 5 lots of y plus 3 lots of y is 8 lots of y. And then we got that constant term of plus 15 at the end. So that is the final answer.